Hello everybody, Happy New Year. It's a few days into January and I've watched a few videos by people about their 10 favorite decks for the year, their favorite 10 reading decks for the year. I decided to take a little different spin on this and do sort of tarot Oscars, my favorite in several categories. So, I've done 9 categories, which leaves a 10th for you to fill in if you want to do a VR to this with your favorite deck that I may have missed, like a more romantic deck, which I didn't have. So let's get going. The most whimsical deck that I have from this year. Now, these are decks that I think are all new this year, but it's entirely up to you if you just want to pull what you consider your most whimsical deck ever for this category. So, the most whimsical deck of 2021 for me was The Witchy Cat by Dame Darcy. I've shown this in a few videos. It's got fun backs. The cards are just, you know, they're cartoons, they're Dame Darcy, they're fun. They are very colorful, very full of people and things, and you know, every card is just full of stuff that you can draw from. But I find this a very whimsical deck. I find most of her decks very whimsical, very fun. And so this is my most whimsical deck of 2021. I love this one. It's after a painting by somebody I'm going to forget now. But anyway, The Witchy Cat by Dame Darcy is my most whimsical deck of the year. Okay, putting glasses on between every one, but so I don't shine at you when I look up. The Gentlest tarot. You might expect something different. But the Gentlest tarot for me was the Mara Luna. I'm backwards today. Comes in a tin. And it's, obviously I'll have all the links and creators and stuff down below. But it's just a gentle palette, gentle figures on it. I really love it. It's very sweet. The people are, I mean, I love her in sandals and this big baggy sort of hippie skirt, and it just says pretty much the RWS stuff, but it does it with such a soft palette and such a gentle approach. It's really a beautiful deck. Nice cardstock. Even the tower doesn't have people falling off of it. So if you want a gentle deck that's not going to scare people away or scare yourself away, look at that strength card where she's got a deer instead of a lion. So this deck is, it's not much of a devil. It's not too scary, is it? So if you really want a gentle deck, then the Mara Luna is definitely the winner in that category, for me. I'm interested to hear for you. Okay, the most beautiful deck. Well, there were a few contenders for this, the Majestic Earth and so on, but I ended up with the Soprafino. I got this limited edition from Lo Scarabeo. It's got a great little hard box, and it's a small deck, which I love, small and thinner cards. And, you know, as I understand it, Soprafino means, you know, very fine art in this deck. Very fine tarot. More refined than some of the early Marseille decks, for example. And it is just a really pretty deck, really beautiful art. And I like that in some of the more antique decks, the colors are very bright, very primary, bright colors. This has softer colors, and I like that. So I think that's very beautiful, very pretty deck. So for 2021, this is the most beautiful deck. One more. Okay, so that was our most beautiful category. Put this aside. There we go. All right, here comes the cat to knock everything over. You wait for her appearance, right? Well, she just went that way. The most minimalist deck. It's an interesting category. But I did have a few sort of simple decks. And the one I chose for this is the Future Ancestor Tarot. Very nice deck, sweet back. I mean, this could have been the Gentlest too, but it won in the minimalist category. It's upside down. But it's a, you know, it has what it needs for you to read it. I wouldn't advise a beginner to use it, but it just has a nice folk art, sort of simple, obviously a simple color palette. There's a little bit of greens and browns and black and white in here. I think that's a lovely strength card. She's letting go of something. And the needles are swords, and you know, the names of the suits vary. But it's just a very sweet, gentle, but minimalist deck. Doesn't have a lot of imagery, a lot of stuff going on. There's our Fool. You know, you can work with that. Someone taking a leap, diving into something they don't know about. So that is the Future Ancestor, Future Ancestor Tarot is my minimalist deck of 2021. You may not have a minimalist deck, so if you want to do a VR to this, choose a different category. Okay, here's the glasses. Colorful, the most colorful deck. One of my favorite awards of the year is the Playful Heart. This is, I can't think of a more colorful deck, whether I got it this year or any other year. It's bright, it's upside down. It actually surprised me. It has more going on in it than I was thinking it would. You know, I thought it'd be simple, simplistic, childish, but the interpretations of the cards are very interesting. And certainly, it's colorful. So the Playful Heart wins most colorful deck. I'll end with this one, which is bright greens, blues, pinks, oranges. And the backs are pretty darn colorful too. So, most colorful deck of the year, Playful Heart, for me. Fascinated to hear what your most colorful deck was. And you know, the people who've done 10 best decks or 10 favorite decks, this may bring up different choices if you choose to do this, because, and again, it doesn't have to be from this year, but your favorite deck may not be your most colorful deck, and etc. Okay, Quirky. Well, we had to know that a Deviant Moon type deck would show up here. This is the Deviant Moon Paradoxical. And Deviant Moon in and of itself is Quirky, one of my favorite decks. But the Paradoxical kind of brings it all to a new level. Very colorful as well, but in a very muted way. And you all have probably seen this. But for a Quirky deck, you can't beat the Deviant Moon. And when I say quirky, frankly, it's a compliment, because I love quirky. I like something different than traditional interpretations. Although I find this deck gives very true meanings to the cards. I can understand each of these cards very, very well. And it gets my imagination going, and I love that. So the Deviant Moon Paradoxical is Quirky Deck 2021. So the next category is the most elegant deck. And I think some of you might guess what this is. This is the Spirit Keeper's Tarot. These are the backs from Benabel Wan. And it's the Revelation edition, so it's colored in. You know, there were earlier editions that were black and white or sepia. But this uses color and is full of symbolism. And here's our kitty cat. There she is, Miss Jade. Okay, Miss Jade. Thank you for making an appearance. But it's beautiful art, elegant art, full of meaning and symbolism. So this would be the winner in the most elegant deck for 2021 for me. And more. Even the Nine of Swords, nightmarish as it is elegant. Okay, couple more categories. These aside. The best fantasy deck. This is one I got relatively recently, and it's a mass market deck from US Games. And I don't know whether it's the Tarot New Ages or Tarot Nuage. I think deck creators, publishers, hint, if you've got a very odd name, give us the pronunciation somewhere. Anyway, I'll call it Tarot Nuage because what the hell, it sounds fancier. The backs. This is a very interesting deck to me. As far as a fantasy deck, it creates a whole new world, a whole new species of people. These little devil creatures down here. It was a close call with the Phantasma Tarot by Paulina Fay. But this one, you know, she's done the same thing again, and not the same, but you know, similar things again and again. This one is not like anything that I've seen, and I love it. I think it's really cool. There is a whole story that I've read in the guidebook about who these people are, who these creatures are. I forget. But anyway, this is my favorite fantasy deck for 2021, the best fantasy deck. And believe me, there are others out there, but I'm kind of enamored with this one at the moment. And then for my scariest deck, this could have gone for fantasy because it's the Fantastical Tarot, but it actually is pretty dark. This is by Natalie Herz, who did a fairy tarot that I love. but great backs. The faces on these, the artwork is great, but the faces of everybody are really sort of gaunt and rather strange, rather scary. I mean, I think she's scary. I think this would be a great deck around Halloween time. I don't know how easy it is to get. I kind of happened upon it on some site, but it wasn't like on Amazon stuff. Maybe now, who knows. But that's a pretty mean looking guy. Pretty spooky lady. So the scary deck for me in 2021 is the Fantastical Tarot. So I'd love it if any of you could do a VR to this in these categories or other categories. Do your Tarot Oscars for 2021. And as I said, I did 9. That left you a 10th to pick a category for, or just do 9, or do 8, or do whatever you like. So that's my sort of wrap up for my 2021. Not necessarily all my favorite decks, but my favorites in these categories. So thank you for watching. You guys take care. And until next time, bye.